topic on discipline relates to people and the psychological, the sociological. Courtney mentioned the submissive and the dominant. So we have a big dynamic here.
Yes.
Of people, their personalities, their perceptions on pain in general. And I think the feature was really...
But Courtney was saying, it's really not on pain. Pain is not the issue. Even though our slogan or our tagline for the movie is "Let the pain begin."
Yes.
You know.
Okay.
You know, but the issue is really not pain. It's actually power and the transference of power. A lot of
tell us about that, because at the end, if people are watching it correctly, there is that transference at the end, isn't there?
Well, that's
Courtney
the arc
takes
of
on
the
the
character.
Role.
The character starts out as a student, young, naive sort of person, and ends up as really one of the top people in the scene, if you will.
Yeah.
That's his arc.
And of course, we're waiting to get it financed for Discipline 2.
D2, we like to call
it. It would make sense to continue on that sequence. So actually, then I saw it initially in reference to the sadomasochism, and I think most people would say, well, there's some kind of pain involved. But it's very insightful that you say it's really power here.
Well, it is. But what's interesting about the pain thing is it's just like working out at the gym or whatever. No pain, no gain. After 20 minutes of pain, if you will, or whatever, what happens is endorphins kick out of your brain and creates pleasure. Thus, I'm saying some of these people can't attain pleasure otherwise, so they have to go through the pain ritual, if you will, to attain some sort of euphoric feeling.
That's very insightful, Courtney.
Yeah,
very,
It's interesting stuff, again, on a non-judgmental level.
There's a lot to this feature. I mean, if the audience is focusing, they'll see that there's a lot of medical-related matters here, psychological matters here, chemical reactions, concepts of power. So there's a lot here. Did you think you were going to bring out all of this in the beginning, or you saw it developing as you were making the feature?
Well, basically, everything was in the script, and I can tell you that. And we felt that we had a good script, and the evidence to that was Courtney's acceptance into the role.
Yeah.
He liked it, and also the other actors that played in the movie.
Let's go into the of discipline. Let's go into the aspect of your intent in what you really wanted people to understand from it. I know we talked about it in general, but when you made the picture, what did you think people were going to get from it? What is somebody seeing it? What do you think their reaction was going to be?
The first thing I wanted to do is to introduce them to a different kind of a world, and to make them think, and also to make a little kind of like a little warning, which is if you play with fire, you could get burned,
Okay.
So, but it is, and especially because of the extremist nature of some of the characters there, and. Anyway, so that's what I thought, that they were going to get informed. I thought that it was, fast enough pace, not to be a boring movie or try to be it's very artistic, and I'm trying to tell you, I didn't want to make an artistic movie, but it ended up being very artistic.
Sure.
I just wanted to tell a good story, because that's the bottom line of any movie. Movies are about people, not about things that happen. When you have a movie about things that happen, and we're focusing only on the action, you have people that get killed off and you don't care about. Where there's other movies where one guy is going to get shot and you're like, oh my God, And so it's very important that we distinguish that a movie is about the characters, it's about people, and it's about the story. So that's what I was trying to put out, a good story, and for people to get an insight on this world, this dark world.
You mentioned you have another project going. They Love Me. Is that something you're working on now?
Yeah, They Love Me. We just finished this movie. It's a feature also. It's a digital feature. It's a movie about a black comedian, George Lovin Jackson. And it's a fun movie. It's a comedy. It's part reality show, part documentary, and part bull.
Okay. Well, that's quite a departure from Discipline, right?
Yeah, it's totally a different whole thing. It's a lot of it's a black comedy, you know, and it's very interesting. It has a lot of interesting people in it, and you know, it's poignant, and you know, it touches you in parts, and it makes you laugh in parts, and it's you know, it's an interesting movie. Different kind of project.
Tell us something about the Magazine. I see you've brought that. How are you related to Magazine, and what's its scope, and so on?
Magazine is a magazine that we put out. And the idea of Magazine is simply that there are Hispanic filmmakers here in town, like crazy, especially with the more portable cameras and the newer things.
Yes.
They're sprouting out like crazy. And some of them really don't speak English well. And so what we're trying to do is to make a magazine where the American companies can reach out
and find them,
you know, and you know, if they're vendors or they're service providers, they can talk to these people and tell them about their services and stuff.
And I understand that's a free magazine?
It's a free magazine to the public. You know, they can pick it up anywhere. There's many locations where it is. It's called Magazine, and it's free, and we exist out of advertising, and this is a good opportunity for people to show their wares.
And actually, I think you have your Discipline is in there as well somewhere.
Yeah, we you know, a little bit of self-promoting never hurt anybody. So we got we have an article on Discipline, you know, that we explain things in Spanish. Everything is written in Spanish, but we also have things like terms that the director uses in English and
like
in Spanish, and so
a vocabulary here of different. Is that movie language or movie words?
Movie words, movie language. We have you know, ads and stuff, and other filmmakers and stories, and even cooking, and you know. So
the community really can benefit by
this.
These
Is something that the community can really benefit, because it's to inform the Hispanic filmmaker, you know, and there's nobody else doing it.
So in terms of the independent filmmakers, I mean, where do you see the future now?
Well, I see it's open, really, because technology is king in the sense of you know, people can have access to technology now, you know. I mean, even the small little home cameras really make for a good picture. You know, and there's technologies right now that even with those cameras, you can process it in such a way that you can show it in a theater if you need to. You know, so it really is limitless right now. You know, it's just up to the imagination of the filmmaker. You know, movies have been done without a budget. Movie has been done with low budget and with high budgets, and you know, you can do anything now. You know, it's up to creativity. You know.
So you really see a bright future for the independent.
Yes, I do. I think the independent market is going to get bigger and bigger, especially with the dissemination in the internet and you know, YouTube and so forth. And
let's get some closing remarks. Courtney, what do you want to say regarding Discipline?
That I think it's an interesting film worth seeing, and you know, especially if you're an independent film lover, I think that this is, and if you like, you know, my past, like movies like Children of the Corn, or anything like that.
Martin, your closing remarks.
I think Discipline is a movie that should be watched. I think it's a good movie. I think it's entertaining. I think it's informative. And more than anything else, I think you will enjoy it.
Well, I think the audience has learned quite a bit about Discipline and how it relates to power, pain, and all the other nuances about it, even medical reactions to it. I thank you very much for attending, Martin. Thank you for your insight. Courtney, thank you.
Thanks for having me.
And we'll look forward to seeing them on future shows and also in the industry. Thank you very much.
Thank you.